Hello and welcome. Let's begin with one simple truth. Self-doubt is quiet, but it's poison. It doesn't scream like anger. It doesn't cry like sadness. But it kills your dreams slowly, silently, from within. And the cruelest part? Most people think it's normal. They call it being realistic, or being humble, or being careful. But they're wrong. They're trapped, frozen, lost inside their own limitations. Why this topic matters more than ever. Today's world rewards confidence, speed, bold action. You see others succeeding online, taking risks, sharing their voice, building empires. You watch from the sidelines thinking, they're different from me. They're braver than me. They know something I don't. Then you start wondering, what if I'm not talented enough? What if I don't have what it takes? What if I'm meant to stay small? What if everyone else can see I'm a fraud? What if I'm just fooling myself? And before you know it, you're sitting there, dreaming, but never doing. That's the curse of self-doubt. It whispers lies. It steals your voice. It kills your momentum. It destroys your confidence. And worst of all, it convinces you to quit before you even start. You want to launch that business? Self-doubt says no. You want to share your art with the world? Self-doubt says wait. You want to speak up in that meeting? Self-doubt says hide. And by the time you gather courage, someone else has taken your place. Self-doubt is a thief, and if you don't defeat it, it will quietly steal your destiny. Why do we doubt ourselves? We doubt because we compare. We think, if I just wait until I'm perfect, then I'll be ready. But perfection never comes. Growth does. Progress does. But only when you move. Self-doubt is a lie your mind tells you. It says if you stay small, you'll stay safe. But all it brings is regret. So now, let's talk about how to break these invisible chains. Not with shallow motivation, but with real, transformative, life-changing truths that will stay with you forever. This message won't just help you overcome doubt. It will rebuild your confidence, your courage, and your entire relationship with yourself. Let's begin. Solution 1. Your inner critic lies. Let's start with the most liberating truth. That voice in your head that says you're not enough, it's lying. Not because it hates you, but because it's trying to protect you, in the wrong way. Your brain isn't designed to make you successful. It's designed to keep you safe. It will always warn of failure, even when success is possible. So you start thinking, I'm not smart enough for this. Everyone will see I don't belong here. I'll embarrass myself, and everyone will know. I tried before and failed, so I'll fail again. I feel scared, so this must be dangerous. But all of this is just noise. It's not reality, it's fear. Here's the truth. You don't know how capable you are until you try. You don't know your limits until you test them. You don't know your strength until you use it. But your mind acts like it already knows. It creates false ceilings, then keeps you trapped beneath them. That's why the first step to killing self-doubt is this. Stop believing every thought about yourself. Not all self-criticism is accurate. Not all fears are justified. Your inner critic might speak loudly, but you don't have to listen. Once you realize this, you reclaim your power. Let me share a powerful story. There was once a circus elephant named Jumbo. As a baby, he was chained to a small wooden stake. He tried to break free countless times, but he was too small, too weak. The chain held firm. Years passed. Jumbo grew massive, powerful, weighing several tons, strong enough to uproot trees. But he never tried to break the chain again. Why? Because in his mind, that small stake still held him. He believed he was still that weak baby elephant. The chain that once held him was now just in his head. The lesson: self-doubt does the same thing. Your mind says, I can't do this. I'm not the type of person who succeeds. I've failed before, so I'll fail again. I don't have what successful people have. So you don't try, you don't risk, you don't grow. But just like Jumbo, you are trapped by an old story. The stake is not real anymore. You are not weak. You are not small. You are not that person who failed years ago. It's just your mind playing an old recording. Your limitations are not always real. Don't let yesterday's weakness define today's possibilities. Break the chain. Challenge the thought. Your strength is waiting. Catch doubt before it spreads. Self-doubt doesn't arrive like lightning. It creeps in like fog. A small whisper enters your mind. You entertain it. Then it invites more doubts. Then more. And before you know it, it's a chorus of voices telling you to give up. The secret to victory is early detection. The moment you notice doubt creeping in, say, "This is not truth. This is not helping me. This is fear dressed as wisdom. I choose to move forward anyway." That declaration is a shield. It stops the infection from spreading. It's like catching a fire when it's still just a spark. Because the longer doubt lives in your mind, the stronger it becomes. Imagine you want to start a podcast. Doubt 1, maybe my voice isn't good enough. Doubt 2, who would want to listen to me? Doubt 3, there are already so many podcasters. Doubt 4, what if I run out of things to say? Doubt 5, why did I think I could do this? Doubt 6, I should just forget this stupid idea. And the truth? You haven't even recorded one episode, but your brain has already written your failure story. That's why stopping the first doubt is everything. Solution 3. Write down your fears before they write your story. Have you ever tried to hold water in your hands? You squeeze tight, but it slips through your fingers. That's what happens when you try to hold all your doubts in your mind. They slip around, multiply, create chaos until you feel overwhelmed. But you don't even know why. So here's the solution. Write them down. Take a piece of paper, take your phone, and write exactly what you're afraid of. Not perfectly, not for anyone else, just for yourself. Let your fears see daylight, because fears are monsters in the dark, but they become manageable in the light. Write, what am I afraid will happen? Why does this scare me so much? What's the worst realistic outcome? What would I do if that happened? How likely is this fear to come true? And once it's written, you'll discover something amazing. Most fears shrink when examined. Most worries fade when questioned. Because you stopped being haunted by shadows. This isn't just writing. This is fear surgery. This is courage building. If you don't face your doubts, they will face you as panic, paralysis, and missed opportunities. So let them out. Your confidence is hiding underneath them. Solution 4. What if I fail? Ask a better question. Let's be honest. The root of most self-doubt is one question. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people laugh at me? What if I waste my time? What if I prove my critics right? And here's the trap. You're living in fear of a future that might never happen. A future you're creating with your imagination. You feel shame for a mistake you haven't made. You feel rejection from people who haven't rejected you. You feel disappointment about a failure that exists only in your mind. That's why "what if I fail" is the most dangerous question in your vocabulary. It creates horror movies and makes you believe you're already living them. Let's try a different approach. Instead of asking "what if I fail," ask "what if I succeed?" Instead of "what if I'm not good enough," ask "what if I'm better than I think?" Instead of "what if they reject me," ask "what if they've been waiting for exactly what I offer?" What if your ideas are exactly what someone needs to hear? What if your business solves a problem people have been struggling with? What if your courage inspires others to be brave too? What if this is the beginning of something beautiful? You see, your mind will create stories either way, so why not create empowering ones? Why not let your imagination work for you instead of against you? What if I succeed is not naive optimism. It's strategic thinking. It's mental preparation for victory instead of defeat. Don't let "what if I fail" steal your future. Let what if I succeed build it. Solution 5. Say your doubt out loud. Expose its weakness. Self-doubt gains power from secrecy. It whispers in your head and your mind treats it like gospel truth, on repeat. But there's one simple technique that can destroy its grip. Say it out loud. Speak the doubt. Literally say, I think I'm not smart enough for this opportunity. I believe I'll embarrass myself if I try. I'm convinced no one will take me seriously. Now stop and listen. When you hear the doubt with your ears, it starts to sound different, smaller, weaker, less convincing, because your brain is emotional, but your voice is rational. Let's try an example. You're thinking, I'm too old to start over in a new career. You say it out loud. I believe I'm too old to change careers. Now your logical mind responds, wait, is that actually true? You answer, well, people change careers at all ages. Colonel Sanders was 62 when he started KFC. Vera Wang was 40 when she entered fashion. Suddenly, the doubt is smaller. The fear is manageable. Why? Because when you speak a doubt out loud, it moves from your emotional brain to your logical brain. It becomes something you can examine, question, and dismiss. So next time you're trapped in self-doubt, try this. Step 1. Speak the doubt clearly. Step 2. Listen to how it sounds. Step 3. Ask, is this really true or is this just fear talking? In most cases, you'll realize it's just your protective mind being overly cautious, because doubts are never as solid as the silence around them. Solution 6. Stop waiting for permission, start giving it to yourself. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in doubt is because they're waiting for someone to tell them they're ready, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for more experience to believe in them first, waiting for all the fear to disappear. And the result? They wait forever. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to tell you you're good enough. No one is coming to hand you permission to chase your dreams. Let's imagine a young woman who wants to start a YouTube channel about cooking. She has recipes, she has passion, she has stories to share. But then, what if my kitchen isn't fancy enough? What if I'm not as good as other cooking channels? What if people criticize my techniques? What if I don't get any views? So she waits. She studies other channels. She plans the perfect setup. She waits for more confidence. 1 month becomes 6 months. 6 months becomes 2 years. And her dream dies. Not because she failed, but because she never gave herself permission to begin. Here's the truth that will set you free. You don't need anyone's permission to try. You don't need anyone's approval to start. You don't need anyone's validation to exist. You are already enough. You already have permission. You gave it to yourself the moment you felt the desire. Nobody became great by waiting for permission. They became great by taking action. So stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. Start believing in yourself. The world doesn't need your perfect version. The world needs your authentic effort. Right now. Today. Permission granted. Solution 7. Move your body, shift your energy. When doubt fills your mind, your first instinct is to think your way out. You want to analyze, understand why you feel this way. So you sit there and think, and think, and think. But here's what most people don't realize. Thinking more doesn't create confidence. It creates mental exhaustion. Self-doubt is not a thinking problem. It's an energy problem. When you doubt yourself, your body reflects it. Your shoulders slump. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your posture shrinks. Your energy drops. And without realizing it, your body is telling your brain, we are weak, we are small, we should hide. That's why the fastest way to interrupt self-doubt, move your body. Not because you need exercise, not because you need to burn calories, but because motion creates emotion. Here's how. Stand up tall and stretch your arms to the sky. Go for a walk and breathe deeply. Do push-ups or jumping jacks. Take a cold shower. Organize something in your space. It sounds too simple, but it's scientifically proven. When you change your physiology, you change your psychology. Your brain receives new signals. your energy shifts, your confidence begins to return. Imagine someone sitting hunched over, worried about an upcoming presentation. I'm going to mess this up. Everyone will see I don't know what I'm talking about. I should cancel and say I'm sick. Now imagine they stand up, put on energetic music, and practice their presentation with confident gestures. 10 minutes later, they're not fearless, but they're not paralyzed anymore. The doubt has loosened its grip. That's the power of movement. Don't sit there drowning in doubt. Stand up and change your state. When your body leads with confidence, your mind will follow. Solution 8. Replace doubt with action. One small step forward. Self-doubt loves inaction. It feeds on hesitation. It tells you you're not ready yet. You need to prepare more. Maybe tomorrow you'll feel braver. But here's the brutal truth. You don't need more preparation. You need momentum. You need proof that you can move forward despite the fear. The brain can imagine 1,000 reasons to wait, but it can only find confidence through one thing: action. Let's say you want to start freelance writing. You think, what if my writing isn't good enough? What if clients reject my proposals? What if I can't find any work? So you research, you plan, you doubt, and you do nothing. Here's what you should do instead. Forget perfection. Forget guarantees. Forget the distant future. Just do one tiny thing. Write one sample article. Create one simple portfolio. Send one proposal to one potential client. One small action teaches your brain something powerful. We are not here to be afraid. We are here to create progress. The longer you sit in doubt, the stronger it becomes. But the moment you act, even imperfectly, the doubt begins to crack. Let's say you want to learn public speaking, but you doubt your ability to be interesting. Instead of overthinking it, just record yourself speaking for 1 minute. Watch it back. That's it. Tomorrow, record 2 minutes. That's how you defeat self-doubt. One small action at a time. You don't need to conquer your fear today. You just need to take the first step, despite it. Solution 9. Set deadlines for decisions. Confidence grows in action, not analysis. Many people believe that time heals doubt. So when they feel uncertain, they wait. They wait for more information, they wait for the fear to pass, they wait for absolute certainty. But time doesn't always bring clarity. Sometimes time brings more confusion. You start with one doubt. Should I apply for this job or not? Then hours pass, then days. Then you've created 5 new reasons why you're not qualified. Now your heart is racing. You're more doubtful than ever. That's the poison of endless analysis. The brain hates uncertainty, so it keeps questioning, keeps analyzing, keeps circling. But confidence doesn't come from thinking longer. Confidence comes from choosing faster and learning as you go. So what's the solution? Set a decision deadline. Tell yourself, I have 1 hour to decide. Then I move forward. Not because you're reckless, but because you value progress over perfection. Example, you're doubting whether to start that online course. Set a timer. Ask yourself, will this help me grow? What's the worst that could happen? Will this move me closer to my goals? Then decide. Not next week, not when you feel 100% ready. Now. Because peace doesn't come from perfect decisions. Peace comes from committed ones. Even a 70% confident decision brings more growth than a 100% analyzed delay. Make the choice. Act. Adjust if needed. But don't sit in doubt waiting for certainty that may never come. Solution 10. Focus on growth, not approval. Self-doubt often comes from caring too much about what others think. Caring about their opinions, their judgments, their approval, their validation. But the truth is, you can't control any of that. You cannot control what others think of your work. Control who supports or criticizes you. Control their expectations. Control their reactions. So why torture yourself trying? Instead, shift all your energy to what you do control. Your effort, your growth, your learning, your persistence, your integrity. Let's imagine this. You published your first blog post. Some people loved it. Others ignored it. One person left a harsh comment. You think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe that critic is right. Maybe I should quit before I embarrass myself more. But can you control their reactions? Can you make everyone love your work? No. So you breathe. You focus on the next post. You improve your writing. You serve your audience. You grow your skills. Because your power is in the process, not in their praise. Here's the rule. If it's outside your control, it's outside your worry. Focus on your craft. Let go of their opinions. That's not giving up. That's growing up. Because confidence doesn't come from universal approval. Confidence comes from knowing you're becoming better every day. Solution 11. Accept that failure is part of success. One of the deepest roots of self-doubt is the fear of failure. People think, what if I try and it doesn't work? What if I invest time and energy and get nothing back? What if I look stupid for even trying? What if everyone sees me fail? This fear is real and it's heavy. Because nobody wants to feel the sting of failure. Nobody wants to feel embarrassed or disappointed. But here is the truth that will set you free. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It's not your enemy. It's your teacher. Every person you admire has failed more than you've even tried. Every successful business started with mistakes. Every skilled athlete lost countless games. Every great speaker gave terrible first speeches. The difference? They didn't let failure mean anything about their worth. They let it mean something about their learning. When you accept that failure is inevitable, something beautiful happens. You become free. You speak with courage. You experiment without terror. Because you know that falling down doesn't make you a failure. Staying down does. Remember this. You don't fail when you make mistakes. You fail when you stop trying because of them. You don't fail when things don't work out. You fail when you let fear keep you from starting. So embrace the possibility of failure. Not because you want to fail, but because you refuse to let the fear of it keep you small. Every failure teaches you something. Success cannot. Resilience, adaptability, humility, strength. Stop running from failure. Start learning from it. That's where real confidence is built. Solution 13. Surround yourself with believers. Energy is contagious. Self-doubt grows stronger in certain environments. Around people who focus on problems instead of possibilities. Around voices that say, be realistic instead of be brave. Around energy that pulls you down instead of lifts you up. But confidence also grows in the right environment. Around people who see your potential. Around voices that say, you can do this. Around energy that believes in your dreams. Let's be honest. The people around you are programming your mind. Their words become your thoughts. Their beliefs become your beliefs. Their energy becomes your energy. If you're surrounded by doubt, you'll doubt yourself. If you're surrounded by faith, you'll find faith in yourself. So ask yourself, who am I spending time with? What are they telling me about my dreams? Are they helping me grow or keeping me small? Do they believe in my potential or just my problems? Sometimes the most important decision you can make is to distance yourself from dream killers and get closer to dream builders. This doesn't mean you need new best friends. It means you need to be intentional about the voices you allow in your mind. Find mentors who've done what you want to do. Read books by people who overcame what you're facing. Listen to podcasts that inspire instead of discourage. Join communities of people who are growing like you, because belief is contagious. And when you surround yourself with believers, you start believing in yourself too. Your environment shapes your confidence. Choose it wisely. Solution 14. Look at evidence, not emotions. Self-doubt often masquerades as intuition. You feel uncertain, so you think something must be wrong with your plan. You feel anxious, so you think you must not be ready. You feel scared, so you think danger must be near. But emotions are not always accurate. They are signals, not facts. They tell you how you feel, not necessarily what's true. Let's take an example. An entrepreneur is about to launch her first product. She feels terrified. She says, I have this sick feeling. Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I should wait longer. Maybe this fear is trying to protect me. But the evidence says she's been preparing for months. She's tested her product. She's researched her market. She has potential customers waiting. She's ready. The feeling says she's in danger. The evidence says she's prepared. Which one should guide her decision? The evidence. Your emotions are important, but when you're growing, stretching, trying new things, emotions can become unreliable. They're calibrated for safety, not success, for comfort, not courage. That's why you need to pause and ask, what do I actually know? What is the real evidence here? Not just the fear, but the facts. Imagine you want to give a presentation at work. You feel nervous. You feel unqualified. But the evidence, you know the material, you've presented before, you've prepared thoroughly. Your boss asked you because they trust you. That one question, what's the evidence, can save you from making fear-based decisions. Solution 15. Trust your future self. You're stronger than you know. Self-doubt often whispers, you can't handle this. This is too much for you. You'll fall apart if things go wrong. You're not strong enough for this challenge. But here's what doubt never tells you. You are more resilient than you realize. You are more capable than you believe. You are stronger than your fear. Think about it. You've survived every difficult day of your life so far. You've overcome challenges you once thought were impossible. You've grown through situations that once terrified you. You've figured things out when you had no idea how. That person who got through all of that, that's you. That person who learned, adapted, and persevered, that's you. That person who is still here, still trying, still dreaming, that's you. So why wouldn't you trust that person to handle what's coming next? Here's a powerful exercise. Write a letter to yourself from your future self. The version of you who has already overcome misdoubt, who has already taken the leap, who has already grown through the challenge. What would that future version tell you? I remember when you were afraid to start, but you did it anyway. I remember when you doubted your abilities, but you proved yourself wrong. I remember when you thought you weren't ready, but ready is just a feeling, not a fact. That future version of you exists. They're waiting for you to catch up. They're cheering for you to take the next step. They believe in you completely because they know something your current self doesn't. You're going to make it. So when doubt whispers you can't, let your future self whisper back, you will. Trust the person you're becoming. They know what they're talking about. Now you've heard it all. 15 powerful, real human ways to overcome self-doubt. Not surface-level tips, not temporary motivation, but deep, transformative truth. Written for your growth, not just your comfort. And as you've read these words, something important has happened. You haven't just learned how to overcome doubt. You've done something far more valuable. You've started to remember who you really are. You've remembered that your doubts are not facts, that your fears are not your future, that your past failures are not your permanent identity, that your current limitations are not your final destination. And even more than that, you've taken one more step towards something greater. Because here in this message, you don't just learn to overcome doubt. You don't just build confidence. You don't just quiet the inner critic. Here, you learn how to trust yourself. You learn how to believe in your potential. You learn how to become the boldest version of yourself. So if this message touched you, if even one part helped you, if you felt seen, understood, or empowered, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Discuss it. Let someone else know they are not alone in their doubt. And most importantly, remember this moment. Remember that you chose growth over fear. Remember that you chose possibility over limitation. Remember that you chose your future. Remember that you chose to believe in yourself. Because this is your moment, your time, your turn. Thank you for reading. Thank you for believing. And thank you for choosing courage over comfort. Now, go live your life. Not inside your doubts, but inside your dreams. You are ready now. You are not your self-doubt anymore.